Hello everyone. If you've fancied decorating one of these Tim Holtz accordion folios but you don't have one, or you can't get hold of one where you live, or they're just not in your budget at the minute, I'm going to show you how to make one. So let's have a look at the Timmy one. This one was bought for me by the lovely Rhonda in a very much large and lovely happy mail. Thank you so much, Rhonda. So it's tied with this ribbon. It's like a linen webbing type thing. I like it. Let's move mine out of the way. Move mine out of the way so you can see it. There we go. So it opens like so. We've got an angled pocket there and a flap there. We've got a flap there, and then there's this little insert. I won't be showing you how to make the insert today. I have done a version of this before, so I'll link that video. It's a slightly different size, but it fits in lovely and it makes the most of your cardstock without wasting too much. So pop that to one side and I'll show you the ones I've made. You can make this from 8.5 inch cardstock by 11, which is your American letter size. You can make it from A4, or you can even do one from a sheet of 12 by 12. I've got a part finish one here because I've not quite decided what else I want to do with that. Here's the one I've made that's just like the Timmy one. Right, so it opens there. We've got the angled pocket again. It opens there. We've got a flap. Mine's slightly bigger, but that doesn't matter. And then we've got that flap there. Now I used 2 sheets of A4 cardstock, and then I've got these pieces left over. If you're using a letter size, you'll be able to get away with using 2 sheets for the entirety. I had to use a 3rd sheet just to make that flap, or you can use a scrap or whatever you've got. So I'll show you the measurements and then you can decide. I would suggest you watch this through before. Don't just grab some cardstock and make it along with me, because you might think, oh, I want this a bit different size, or that slightly different size. Right, these are the measurements I've used that make one like Timmy's. So we cut a piece of cardstock to 6.5. No, I can't even read, can I? 6 by 8.25 inches. Yeah, and 1 to 6 by 11. Yeah. And then we're going to score. So just to save a bit of time, I have cut my cardstock down already. Smooth my full sheets and Blue Peter style. Here's 2 I prepared earlier, and then I've got these 2 pieces left over. You can cut that into a couple of tags. Same with that one, and then that one. If you're using your letter size, that one will be big enough to make your little flap for the inside, because your letter size cardstock is a slightly different size, isn't it? Whereas for us here in UK, ours is not quite going to be. Right, get my scoreboard out and let's start scoring. So I'm going to take my, I'll pop that there so you can see it, my shorter piece first. I've got my scoring tool and I'm going to score at a 1/2 inch and a 4.5 inches. So let's scooch over a bit. So 1/2 inch. You'll notice I've got a new metal scoring tool. I don't know if I broke 2 or 3 plastic ones on camera now. I do love them, but I don't know my own strength sometimes. And 4.5. Then take your longer piece and we're going to score that, hutch us up a little bit, at 2 inches, 5.5, 6, and it's 10.5, yeah. So 2 inches we're going to score at. I'm trying to keep that in shot and it's hard. 2 inches, 5.5 inches. I like to score mine twice. 6 inches. And then the last one at 10.5 inches. Then we're going to join these 2 pieces together. Move our scoreboard. And bring these back. I hope you can see the score lines from there. You will see that we're having a 1/2 inch score line on the edge of the 2 bits. We're going to overlap those to make a join. Yeah, because I don't have cardstock wide enough to make that whole folio out of one. and I'm not going to buy any. I'm just going to crease those a little bit so I can see my edges a little bit better. Now you use whatever you prefer to glue these together. You can use tape, you can use glue. I think I used tape on one and glue on other when I was making them. So on this one I think I'm going to go ahead and use glue. So that is going to be the front, that is going to be the back. So I like to have the shorter piece underneath the longer when I glue them together, yeah? Simply because when it's closed, if I get my prototype out, that's the join and it's on the back, not on this front piece. So grab my glue. I'm using art glitter glue. Like I say, you use what suits you. I'm just going to put some all the way along there. I'm not going right up to the crease because when I press it down it's going to squidge a little bit. And I'm going to place this just up to that crease line. Don't go over your crease line or you're not going to have a very nice experience when you try and fold this up. I think that's straight. I was stood up with my head right above it when I made mine. Yeah, and then just press it down, give that glue time to work. Yeah, that looks good. Have I got any squidgage there? No. I think I just need to alter that slightly. It's not quite, that's better. It looks straight on inside, then when I check back it weren't perfect. Well, it don't need to be perfect, it's good enough in it. Right, now while that dries, I'm going to come in and we're going to make this angled pocket here, yeah? Now, I'm going to cheat because I've already got one. And I'm going to put a pencil mark where I want to cut to. And then I'll measure it and tell you what it is. I was semi-organised. I got your cut and score lines ready for the big pieces. But these fiddly little bits I hadn't. So let's measure that. Where are we up to? That's 2 1/4 inches. So I'm going to bring my little chopper back in. And I'm just going to put that corner in my chopper. You can do this with a craft knife and a ruler, or you can do it with scissors. Mark it out in pencil and then do it with scissors. Might be easier to do it before you've glued them together. So I'm going to line just before my crease line up on my blade edge and that pencil line on my blade edge. I'm holding the guard here. People worry about my fingers at this point, but there is a ridge and a guard. So I ain't going to chop my fingers off, I do assure you. And cut. Right. Chopper out it way again. Did you hear it collapse on the floor? So then I'm going to fold that over. I'm going to grab my bone folder. You use what you've got if you don't have a bone folder. These are all tools that make your life easier. They're not essentials. Your only essential here is something to cut with and some glue. I'm going to do the same on that one. I just check my top and bottom are level before I bone fold it. Then I'm going to come in and fold these. I don't always bone fold the spines. If I don't need the 2 pieces of card to lay permanently flat, I don't tend to bone fold. I don't know why, I just think it looks better. Right, so we now have the bare bones of the folio. That is supposed to be short from there, because what you can also do is have that completely flat and that completely flat. That's how it comes when you get it in the Tim Holtz packet, yeah? So the next thing is to make a little piece for here. Right, you can use a scrap, you can use whatever you've got left. If you're using the 8.5 by 11, you will have a slightly bigger piece left. The size of the piece I used, I believe, I do have a note here. it was 4.5 by 4. 4.25 by 4. So let's grab another piece of card for me, because I want my colour to match, so I'm going to use a fresh piece, and I also don't have another piece of this cardstock of that size. So grab the trimmer, and I'm going to cut one to, I'm just going to check that, just check that measurement, Julie, because you're just a bit, yeah. You've got a memory like a leaking sieve. 4 by 4.25, 4 by 4.25. To be honest, it doesn't matter. You just want a piece of cardstock that doesn't quite go up to the join and will allow you enough room to make a nice little pocket to hold whatever you're going to put inside. Be it that little accordion folded piece or something else you're going to make. So 4.25 by 4. I will definitely use the rest of this up making tags. You could make tags for inside that piece. You can adapt these however you want. And then do this by 4. Then all you have to do... There's no way on earth that's a 4.25 by 4, is it? I've done it. That's just terrible. I've done it 3.25 by 3. So that's going to make myself a lovely little something or other. Crazy woman. It's really hard to see when you're old. 4.25 chomp by 4. Blind leading blind, this, isn't it? This was going to be such a serious quick tutorial, and it's descended into silliness. Right, and then all you have to do with this one is crease it twice at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. I'm going to get my little scoreboard out for that. There's no need to get that great big thing out on the desk for this little job, is there? Find your scoring tool amongst the mess. So I'm going to score at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. And it's got the longer side there. Ooh. Yes, I'm scoring along the longest side, the one that measures 4.25. Right. And then I'm going to fold these up. And then I'm going to glue that onto the inside, because my inside's going to be decorated, so you won't see it. If you prefer to put it on the outside, you can do so. I prefer to put it there. So that's where I'm going to put it. So let's get some art glitter glue on again. The decorating of this is going to be a whole different video. I mean, you may have seen another video by someone else and you really like how they decorate it. Right. And then I'm just going to pop it on. I'm going to eyeball where its centre is. I'm looking at it sideways, so that's not going to be, it's not going to be brilliant. And I'm just lining my crease up with the bottom of my cardstock that I'm sticking it to. Just, is that roughly straight? Yeah, it's straightish, which is my preferred method. Right, so there we have, as near as, damn it, a Tim Holtz folio. Now you can then tie anything you want round it. We'll tie the Tim Holtz piece round it. I'm going to have to look at getting some of this webbing, but that would mean buying things when I really don't need to. You can tie it with ribbons. Oh, I've got enough seam binding to last a lifetime. So that's my Tim Holtz folio. That's my first Tim Holtz folio, and that's Timmy's actual folio. So I hope you enjoyed that. Give it a whirl. If you've got the cardstock, why not? And like I said, as you're making it, you may see some different variations that you want to use. So I'll be back Wednesday. I'll have the tutorial of decorating one of these. I will also link to my little tutorial where I made the little angled insert. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.